Debby just downgraded to a tropical depression, making a big impact on the Piedmont Triad. From downed trees, flooded streets, and tens of thousands of power outages.
Rain is expected for most of the night, but the worst is now behind us.
Debby leaving a mark on the Triad with flooded streets. This is South Holden Road in Greensboro as cars made a splash on the wet roads.
And you might not be able to tell, but under all of this water is actually a softball field. This is Burlington City Park in Alamance County.
Debby turned deadly in North Carolina. A tornado touched down in eastern North Carolina, killing a man and destroying several homes and a school. We have crews all across the Piedmont Triad in Guilford, Forsyth, and Alamance counties.
And Chad Silber is in eastern North Carolina, where crews from the Triad are responding to emergencies. But we want to start with Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley, who is tracking the system right now. Tim, what is the latest?
Well, I'll tell you, the number one question, guys, over the last few hours was, is it done? And the answer is no. The sun might have come out, but we are getting smacked with another band of rainfall. Here's what you need to know, then we'll dive into the details. On and off rain, on, off, continues for this evening into tonight. It will end by tomorrow morning, very quickly too. Flooding will continue mostly along the rivers. They're going to continue to rise. Winds have already weakened. That's good news, but some trees might be damaged or weakened and could still come down. So if you're doing cleanup in the yard, you've got to be careful. That's my advice to you. Here's the swirling center of what is now tropical depression, Debby. The center is just to the east of Charlotte, which means, yeah, it's pushing up into our Triad area over the next couple of hours. Now, you will have absolutely no idea that the storm center is moving overhead. There's no eye, there's no high winds. You won't even notice it, but it will happen over the next few hours. I want to talk about this band of heavy rainfall. This is punishing stuff. We have extremely high rates of rain in those reds and oranges, a couple of inches of rain per hour in here. This is Wendover Avenue, 68, right there near the Palladium and High Point. It's moving backwards, remember, coming in from east to west, heading up toward Macy Grove Road, parts of Kernersville as well. This is on the northern side of the Greensboro Urban Loop near Brown Summit. Very heavy rain as you drive up toward Reedsville and on the northern side of Lake Townsend in Guilford County. Torrential rain from Mebane to Burlington, just on the north side of town. That is with that latest rain band that you can see how dark those clouds are in Greensboro. Where do we go from here? Well, as I said, on again, off again rainfall will continue to get lighter and less overnight tonight. Most of it should be done by about 3 a.m. That means tomorrow is pretty much a dry day for you on your Friday, and that's good news. By the way, we're closing in on 4 inches officially in Greensboro. This is our wettest day since way back when we had those hurricanes back in 2018. You have to go back a long time. We will still have an alert day for the first half of tomorrow because the rivers are still rising and cleanup efforts will continue. But you're going to like that weekend forecast. We'll talk about that coming up.
Tim, thank you. Power crews are making progress. About 77,000 homes and businesses are in the dark across the state. Keep in mind, it was 130,000 just hours ago, so a big improvement here. So here's a look at where you can find the most outages in the Piedmont Triad. In Guilford County, about 3,400, in Forsyth County, about 2,900, and in Rockingham County, about 2,600. We have team coverage of the damage with crews all across the Triad and the state. We start with the damage in Guilford County.
WFMY News 2's Amber Lake joins us live. Amber.
Guys, we've been out here for the last little bit, but we wanted to move the camera over so you could see what crews are still working on behind me. This was a huge tree that fell around lunchtime, and crews have been out here ever since trying to get this area clear. I'm gonna move out of the way so you can see them continuing to work. If that tree would have fallen just a little bit towards us, it would have completely destroyed this home right beside it. Like I've mentioned, crews have been out here all day since it fell, but we were just told that they should be wrapping up in the next 30 minutes or so. Trees have been falling all over the Triad today, guys, because of Debby. We've had at least 56 trees here in Greensboro, and we also have some footage of some snapped power lines in High Point on Dorothy Street off of West English Road. Greensboro Parks and Rec says they do everything that they can to remove the trees out of the roadways as quick as they can.
Be patient. We're going as fast as we can. We've been out here since 6:30 this morning. We're trying to stay on top of things. So just be patient with us and we'll have the roads back open as soon as possible.
Again, this part of Wendover Avenue near Holden Road should be open in the next little bit. We do have some cars that are starting to make their way down here right now. We have GPD that's been helping with traffic today. We have tree service crew members. We have Parks and Rec members. So it should be wrapped up in the next little bit, guys.
All hands on deck. Amber, thank you so much. Well, it is full steam ahead at the Interactive Resource Center in Greensboro. It is staying open all day for people who need a place to stay during the bad weather. Usually it closes for a few hours in the afternoon for cleaning, but that is not the case today.
And check out this video from Winston-Salem. A creek along Old Greensboro Road flooded onto the road, making that road impassable. This is just one of the problem areas in Forsyth County. That is where Joseph Leonard is this evening. Joseph, how are things where you are right now?
Yeah, we're standing at that greenway near Old Greensboro Road in Winston-Salem. We've kind of seen that heavy wind and rain kind of come and go, but the rain is starting to pick back up. And we're going to show you some video from earlier today from all across Forsyth County. Thousands were without power in downtown Winston-Salem. You can see the traffic lights were not working. We also took a drive over to Walkertown Road where we saw some trees down and linemen working on power lines. But Winston-Salem saw its share of downed trees too. We spoke to a man who heard a loud bang at 5 this morning.
Probably about 5 o'clock this morning, I just heard a big thud. I thought somebody came through the door, so I went downstairs and checked all the doors and everything was safe and sound. And so something just told me to go to the front door and look out the window. And when I looked out the window, I saw that.
Now, last I checked, there were about 2,000 people still without power. Earlier today, that number was as high as 11,000. Reporting live in Winston-Salem, Joseph Leonard, WFMY News 2.
Joseph, thank you. A crash shut down all southbound lanes of Highway 52 this afternoon near Akron Drive. Take a look at the damage. At least 3 cars were involved. Thankfully, only minor injuries were reported.
Another area drenched by Debbie's soaking rain is Alamance County.
That is where WFMY News 2's Hannah Jeffries is right now. Hannah, what have you seen throughout the day?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we've had eyes on Alamance County all day long, and this just into the newsroom. Now we have emergency officials that are monitoring the Hall River. The police department says that the Hall River is supposed to crest around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, and right now we just heard from the mayor. She and other emergency officials are actually going and knocking on doors and asking people if they would like to leave, saying this is an area of concern. Once again, this is not mandatory, it's just voluntary, so if you feel like you're in that situation and you want to do that, you can. It may be a good idea. So all eyes are on that. But besides that, we've been over here in Burlington for a lot of the day at City Park. And let me show you, it's because of this river, not the Hall River. This is called the Little Alamance Creek, and it is causing some big problems, especially when we get a whole lot of rain in this area. This river floods, and it's right beside a softball field, which has been flooded for most of the day. Now, we did have a little bit of a lull for about 2 to 3 hours this afternoon. We didn't have any rain over here in Burlington, but it started to pick up yet again, and you can see that the puddling is increasing just from that one heavy downpour that we had. And something I just noticed, Ryan, if you want to look at this right here, we have the storm drains. Earlier today we saw this, but for the first time since that sort of lull, it's even come back. The storm drains just have so much water in them that you can see them sort of bubbling up right now. So Alamance County, they're doing pretty good as far as power outages goes. At last check, they had a little less than 800 people who were dealing with outages. So that is a good thing over here in Alamance County, especially as this storm tends to dwindle down a little bit over the Triad. And also, you got to keep in mind, now we're just worried about the flooding and the river cresting, and we are under a flash flood warning until 6 o'clock as of right now. Live in Alamance County, I'm Hannah Jeffries, WFMY News 2.
Hannah, thank you. Hundreds of flights have been delayed in North Carolina as Debbie moves through. The Charlotte Douglas International Airport reports nearly 650 flights were delayed today. RDU has more than 110 and just about 20 delays at PTI. Debbie has left its mark all across the state. Some rescue crews from the Piedmont Triad are actually helping respond to emergencies in eastern North Carolina.
Our Chad Silber is in Bladen County this evening out near Fayetteville. Chad, how's it looking?
Hey guys, yes, they're kind of in recovery mode here in Bladenboro, which is in Bladen County, after just a lot of water. Knee deep in down Main Street last night really flooded a lot of these businesses around here. And because of that, first responders from the Triad are in this county as we speak. Here in Bladenboro, the Winston-Salem Swiftwater Rescue Team was working all through the night, helping people really as first responders here in the county. They're sleeping right now, and they will be getting ready to get up later tonight to do it all over again if any problems arise. In the eastern part of this county, the Greensboro Swiftwater Rescue Team is deployed over in that portion of the county. I spoke with the assistant chief today. He says that they're in a staging mode right now, but he says seeing all that's happening back in Greensboro is definitely concerning and on the minds of his guys who are with him here in Bladen County.
Our guys are constantly checking the reports back home because our families are back home. We're also constantly in communication with the folks that are on our crew. So our crew down here of 19 people are spread out all out the city, and their units, some of their units and some of their teams are out there responding on these calls right now in these emergencies back home.
And boy, do we appreciate all the efforts that they are doing down here in this area. So how long will they be here? Well, they could be deployed up to 14 days. Of course, that depends on the weather. It depends on the emergency situation. The hope is they will be ready to go home before that. But if not, they are prepared to stay for up to 2 weeks. And they told me that they are ready to respond within 5 minutes of getting the call, whether they are awake or whether they are asleep. Back to you guys.
Chad, thank you. One person died in eastern North Carolina when Debby spawned tornadoes this morning. Take a look at the destruction left behind. The tornado leveled homes in Wilson County, 40 miles east of Raleigh. The man was found dead inside of his home. Debby is also blamed for damaging a school there. The superintendent said the roof and walls of Springfield Middle School are gone.
Now to a Debby delay. Tournament play didn't start at the Wyndham Championship as planned. We'll show you the soggy greens and the new plan next.
And not so fast. The storm not over yet. In fact, it's raining as hard as it has the entire time in Alamance County. This band is pushing north. Coming up, I've got all the forecast models to show you where Debby is going when the rain is over and how you could enjoy your weekend. That's ahead.